Hi, everybody, and welcome to Maverick Sports. Man, we got a full plate today. We're talking about cross country, volleyball, swimming and diving, wrestling, course football, hockey. Head coach Mike Kemp will be in the studio with us. So why don't we get going? First, why don't we take a look at cross country and exactly how the Mavericks have been doing. They went into the NCAA meet, and unfortunately, it wasn't the kind of finish they were hoping. They finished sixth. One of the premier runners this year for the Mavericks, Kayleen Harris, she ended up being fifth in the overall meet. Of course, coming up will be the NCAA regionals, and that has yet to happen, but it happens the weekend that the show is being taped. So hopefully we'll have some results on that next time. Harris and Tani Tange named to the NCC Academic Honor Roll. So, you know, they truly are student athletes here at UNO. Yeah, I'm going to make the plug. They are. They go to class, they do well in class, and they also do well in competition out on the athletic field. As we get a good look here at the NCAA meet, it was kind of a cool day when they had to run. And some runners like cool, some runners like it to be hot, but there's the finish. As we said, Kayleen came in fifth. She finished in first ahead of all the other Maverick runners, Jenna Bronze, Tani, Nicole Nelson, and Lisa Tesaric. And there are their times. And again, as we said, the Mavericks finished sixth. And the academic honor roll, of course, it never hurts. We talked about that already. It's nice to see Harris and Twenge also on that list as well. Let's move to the links. And, of course, if you don't know what that means for you non-golfers, golf.
Played very well this year. Their scores were actually lower than they have been in the past. So we improved and we played competitively in our region. We have the 3 all-conference and then 4 all-academic. And that's a real honor to have, is to have 4 on the academic all-conference team. Kate and Lindsay and Lynn and Sarah are really going to be missed.
And congratulations to all the Mavericks who competed in golf this year. Again, they finished third in the NCC tournament. There you see the finishes. Sarah Wolf, Lindsay Newton, actually Aaron Oman also topping the Maverick contingent. Lynn Mulligan and Abby Weddle coming in also as well. Yeah, golf, it's a tough game. I'm not a real good golfer. I don't golf a lot, so my hat's off to anybody who can take a club, hit that little white ball, and constantly put it in the hole. Also, NCC team, the second team, you heard Coach Nelson talk about these 3. And, of course, another thing that he's happy about is this list of kids right here, the academic honor roll students. Again, student athletes at UNO, playing their sport, doing well in their classes. Moving from the links to the soccer field. Now, the Mavericks soccer team, now it's ranked 23rd. They were undefeated in October. They won all 7 of their matches. This Coach Don Klosterman. They beat Minnesota Duluth 3-0. Goalkeeper Ellen Peterson was the NCC Defensive Player of the Week. And Augustana will be their last regular season matchup, as you see some of the action here. You're going to get a good look at Peterson right here. Ups, nice ups. You got to have good hands if you're a goalkeeper in soccer. But as we said, Augustana will be the last regular season matchup for the Mavericks. And I'll tell you, it's tough for the Mavericks only because they've enjoyed so much success in soccer, very much success in soccer the last couple of seasons. And this year, a little bit of a transition, but they're still out there competing and they're winning matches, as you can see here in October. These 4 matches, 2-1, 2-1, 4-0, 3-0, just keeps getting better. 11-5 overall, as we said. They're now ranked 23rd. They're second in the North Central Conference. And a lot of good soccer teams in the NCC. So congratulations to the Mavericks, and let's hope things can keep rolling here at UNO for that version of football. Moving on to volleyball, the last weekend in October was Hughes First. We'll take a look at this. This is a match with South Dakota, as it said, September 28th. The Maverick volleyball team, again, is another program in this school that has had great tradition, great success, and trying to continue that year in, year out. People, unless you play it and you're involved in it, you don't understand the pressure and the dedication and the commitment it takes. And again, we're going to talk about the student athlete. I have to mix this with classes. Now, this was huge. This weekend was huge. Friday and Saturday night, they beat nationally ranked teams, and this is the Augustana game. They were led that weekend by Carly Christensen. She had 15 kills and 5 blocks against Augie, and then she had 12 more kills and 5 blocks against Minnesota State Mankato. And the Mavericks took two nationally ranked teams down on consecutive nights. Katie Agnew chipped in with 28 assists, and she had 4 service aces, which is a career high for her. The young Maverick fans also enjoying the success. Take a look at the volleyball scores. In October, they swept South Dakota, took Augie in 5, then they take Minnesota State Mankato. The next night, they sweep them 3 straight games, and their overall record now 14-8. There you see the standings. The Mavericks have moved up to second place. Of course, Minnesota Duluth running away with things right now at 9-0. From the volleyball court, let's go to the pool. And these are kinds of events, unless you've ever been competitive in this is a whole different world. But the Mavericks did well. This is, as you saw, this was an unscored swimming and diving meet against Nebraska Kearney. But nevertheless, the Mavericks came up big. Jessica Hessel, she set a national B-cut mark on 100 freestyle at 53.79. I mean, that's in the water, folks. I mean, that's almost walking on water, you know what I mean? She also was second on the 100 butterfly. Also doing well, Adrienne Losey. She won the individual medley 100 and 200, and she came in first in the 100 breaststroke. And then we have Christy Miner, who was first in the 100 backstroke, and then in the 100 butterfly, it was Jessica Lefebvre coming in first place for the Mavericks there. So again, Jessica Hessel leading the swimming Mavericks, or the Tankers as some people like to call them. They had that double duel on October 19th. They won their meet against the Colorado School of Mines. They also came up victorious against Mesa State. And there you see the first place finishers in some of those other meets as we talked about. I'll tell you what, the more and more people get involved as far as fans of Maverick sports, the different programs just continue to turn out some really great performances and some really great athletes. And at the Division II level, I think it's probably a purer form. Nothing against Division I, don't get me wrong. I don't want my phone ringing now. But in Division II, there's a lot more that goes into it than people realize as far as a student athlete. And there you see your first place finishers there and the 200 medley relay. Yes, we now need to go to probably the team that's making the most noise right now at UNO campus, and it's the football team. Here you see Brian McNeil. He bounces outside, takes a touchdown in against South Dakota. That's, of course, is the, I should say this is the homecoming game. And Stuart Frazier had 2 touchdowns in that ball game. You see the Mavericks with a 24-0 lead. And watch this hit. Jeff Sauter forces the fumble. Randy Cush picks it up, and he's going to go all the way for the touchdown. And that's just the kind of football the Mavericks have been playing. The bullpen, of course,
just so
up
important
full.
for us not to be looking down the road right now. And, you know, like I keep telling people, you're probably never as good as you think you are, so you better keep getting ready week in and week out.
Okay, nationally televised game on CSTV. South Dakota comes into town. The Mavericks are on fire. Zach Miller, the announcers just praised this kid up and down. He just really caught their attention. There you see the bullpen again. Here's right up the middle for a touchdown on some tough yardage. You see CSTV camera guy, handheld camera guy on the field. Punt return, all the way for a touchdown. Mavericks again doing a good job on that. The Cush boys, they have their hands in everything. Of course, it goes back to their dad, Rod, who was quite a player here as well as in the NFL. And Rob Lewis blocks this field goal attempt for the Mavericks. Everything just going their way. You see the bullpen up. The Maverick flags are running. Everybody's having a good time over Canadian Field. Then we've got this long run by McNeil. He takes off, just finds a hole, and he'll rumble all the way down to the South Dakota 3-yard line. And then once they're there, they call McNeil's number again, and he's in for the touchdown that brings out these kind of signs. We want Grand Valley.
They had some momentum. They had the ball down there. We blocked the field goal. Then we held them to another one that they missed. And I think there were some critical situations there that our defense came through big time. And, again, that might be one of the better performances we've had for a while against the run.
Okay, so there you see what the Mavericks have done the last time since we've met here on Maverick Sports. They haven't lost a game. They haven't lost a game all season. They're 7-0, and of course the season continues, and we'll have more on that as Maverick Sports continues. We got to look at the North Central Conference standings the last year for the Mavericks in the North Central, and what better way for the Mavericks to continue to win and get to postseason play. The closest teams, Central Washington and North Dakota at 5-1. The Mavericks, as of this taping, sitting at 7-0. Well, so far, the UNO football team is enjoying that undefeated season, and every time they play, it's as if there's no chance of losing. Well, Kara Buchanan reports on these outstanding Mavericks.
We're a team, like that's what's really important. Like, we're always there for each other. We help each other out.
It's not only about winning with these UNO football players, it's about teamwork.
We do lifting in the off season, we have running in the summer times, spring ball, spring practice, everything else we do. So it's a year-round thing. It's a constant prep for something.
With the players working so hard, it's a wonder where they get their motivation from.
Us being undefeated just puts a bigger target on our chest. Everybody's looking to pick off number one. So you got to prepare for each week like you really need to win that game, because we do. We need to win every game.
The Mavericks are ranked #1 by College Sports Report, but they don't let that go to their heads.
It doesn't affect it at all, because a lot of good teams are losing this year in college, so no matter how good you are, you can lose. So yeah, I try not to let it affect me at all. I try to go into every game like we're playing the #1 team every week.
Head coach Pat Burns explains the strategy for each game.
Consistency, I think that's something that I think our guys are pretty good with. I think they try to go in with enthusiasm as opposed to emotion, because that's important, that you enjoy doing what you're doing out here, because then if you don't, you got too many ups and downs, and I think we've been pretty good at that over the years.
But the ultimate strategy for this football team?
Just keep winning.
The coach as well as the players think that without their fans and supporters, their season just wouldn't be the same. For Maverick Sports, I'm Kara Buchanan.
Thanks a lot, CB. Good job on that football story. And, of course, the Maverick football team is getting a lot of attention, and they should, because they're undefeated, and they're playing very, very well football. However, now comes the other big sport, as far as the men are concerned at this time of year, obviously, the hockey team. In a few moments, we'll have head coach Mike Kemp in here. But the Maverick hockey team has already started its season, and it started, of course, with the Mutual of Omaha Stampede. You can hear Greg Harrington in the background, by the way, the play-by-play voice of the Mavericks. I'll tell you what, great weekend for the Mavericks. Mick Lawrence had 4 goals, 2 assists, named to the all-tournament team. The Mavericks scored a power play goal right away. Not even 5 minutes into the game, they get their first power play goal by Brian Marshall. They put 4 people on the all-tournament team. Mick Lawrence, of course, Brian Marshall, Mike Philippi, and goalie Jared Kaufman, which was huge. Of course, they didn't have such a good weekend when they went to Ohio. They got hit with a lot of penalties, and we'll be talking about all that with Mike Kemp in a moment. But here's a look at what they did at the start of the season. As we said, they won both games at the Stampede, and they won the Stampede. Then they went out to Ohio to play in Miami of Ohio. They were 0-2 in the conference, 2-2 overall. And in the studio with me now, in his 10th year, I can't believe it's been 10 years already. He hasn't just started shaving. Head hockey coach for the Mavericks, Mike Kemper, thanks for joining us today. It's a pleasure to see you again. It's been a while since I've seen you. I haven't had the opportunity to speak to you, but you're looking great.
Well, thanks, Tori. I appreciate that.
And I'll tell you what, the boys have started out pretty well.
Yeah, and all things considered, being basically 2-2 at this time, it's not where we wanted to be, but certainly I'm pleased with the progress we've made, and that's kind of the key right now. The hockey season, as I always say, is a marathon, not a sprint, and we need to make sure that we continue to improve from game to game, and that's kind of what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and I know a lot of guys in sports, especially coaches, you don't like to look in the past, but let's be serious. You lost a lot from last year's club. You had some really great guys over the last couple of years, but this team's not so lacking either.
No, I mean, we did lose a ton of people. You don't lose a Scott Parse and an Alex Nikiforuk up front, who were big-time point producers, and lose 3 defensemen that are main cogs in your lineup that have had 4 years of experience playing back there at the Division I level, and not have, feel it at least at the start of the season. And that's kind of what we're going through right now. I looked at our lineup last Saturday night, and we had 7 upperclassmen in uniform last weekend out of the 20 players that were dressed. So, you're looking at a lineup that's largely sophomores and freshmen. We're playing all sophomores and freshmen on defense. And when you're doing that, you're going to go through your growing pains, and that's what we're experiencing right now.
Well, I notice, the Stampede, first of all, has already become a tradition in Omaha. And a lot of times you'll hear coaches say, well, first couple games, we'll see where we are. But I think this year, the Stampede really was a good gauge because the kids showed they could score on the power play right away, answer an opponent's score, and you pretty much found out who was going to step up in certain situations, I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right. It was really a good learning experience for us. I quite honestly, going into that opening night game with Manitoba, I was nervous, as a cat on a hot tin
not
roof.
you.
Because, not knowing what to expect. We put out 5 freshman defensemen that night with 1 sophomore D, not really knowing what to anticipate. And I was real pleased because our guys showed that they could generate some offense, and the power play moved the puck very, very well. And those were things that I was really pleased to see come out of that. The next night against Huntsville, we played a very sound game. And in both nights, we didn't relinquish any offensive opportunities, which I was real pleased with.
The thing that gets me is, you put 4 guys on the all-tournament team, which is great. Of course, Mick Lawrence, he had 4 goals for the whole tournament, a couple of assists. I'm a defensive guy, always have been my whole life. I like the fact that Kaufman got chosen to the all-tournament team.
Oh, absolutely. He was solid that night. Really, it was a shame. He shouldn't even have given up the goal that they did score. He had a handle on it, but our defenseman didn't necessarily tie the guys up in front, and the puck was bouncing around, and he couldn't quite cover it up, that one goal that they did score. Other than that, he was poised. He was solid. He really didn't give them anything to get excited about. And as a result of that, he was recognized, which I think is a real positive thing.
And even though this had a negative final result, I think the game against the Redhawks in Ohio got the kids ready for what could happen during the season. You're talking 13 penalties, 56 minutes, guys getting to the showers early. I know that wasn't a happy game for you, but in some ways, can you use that as a positive to grow on?
Oh, clearly, Tori. There's a lot of positives that came out of that series over there. The Saturday night game, of course, we got penalized very early, and it was very frustrating because the calls that were made, I'm not going to say, but I think there was some embellishment on those calls. And as a result of that, we were really put into a hole. We had a 1-0 lead against the #1 team in the nation in their barn. We had outplayed them the night before. And, we had a lot of confidence brimming at that point in time. And all of a sudden, we have to kill off 2 5-on-3s, both full 2-minute 5-on-3s, and then 5-minute majors that were tacked onto those. And in those circumstances, our penalty killers did a marvelous job. We survived. We only gave up 1 goal, and it was real late on the second 5-on-3 in the last 2 minutes of the period. Looking at that, we grew up a lot in that game. But unfortunately, having to kill so much of that first period, it really did take a lot of steam out of our sails, and we really had a lot to overcome in that the rest of that game.
To this point, 4 games in, including the tournament, the Stampede, are the Mavericks where Mike Kemp wants them to be at this point in the season?
Well, I think from I guess if we were going to say a standing standpoint, not quite. But quite honestly, as a team developing, yes. We've had great leadership so far in the early season by our upperclassmen. They're doing a wonderful job. And as far as our team all being on the same page, doing the right things on and off the ice, the level of commitment, the attitude, the work ethic in practice, all of those things have been extremely positive. And as a result of that, I'm satisfied with where we're at, and I'm looking forward to watching this team grow, mature, and develop, because I think it's going to be an exciting process.
All right, speaking of that, let's take a look ahead. Mike, right behind us, we can see your upcoming matches. And, of course, as of this taping, you haven't played Michigan yet. It's nice that they would come and grace us in Omaha. What about the Wolverines? Already said and done, right?
And Wolverines, the big thing about them is they're coming in now as the #2 team in the nation.
Right.
So we go from the #1 team in the nation to the next week to the #2 team in the nation. But they're a high-octane offense. They're go, and they're going to be an exciting team to play against. It's going to be a good test for our young defensemen because they're going to learn what speed is all about.
Okay, then you got Ohio State there, then you come home, you get Ferris State and Alaska Fairbanks. I'll tell you what, the next the next 4 setups, the kids got their work cut out for
They
them.
really do. It's going to be a good test for us, but it's going to also put us in, we have the opportunity to put ourselves in a real good position in the standings if we can take care of business in these 8 games.
All right, Mike, I want to thank you for coming by. It's great seeing you again, and sharpen up those blades and get the curve in those sticks just right and start lighting up that lamp.
Thanks very much, Tori. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that happens.
All right, Mike Kemp, head coach of the UNO Maverick hockey team. Maverick fans, visit gomavs.unomaha.edu to keep up on all your favorite Maverick teams, check the schedule, and even buy tickets to the next game. Check it out at gomavs.unomaha.edu. Welcome back to Maverick Sports. Again, I want to thank head coach Mike Kemp of the hockey team for coming by and visiting with us. Speaking of hockey, we all know that the Mavericks have an outstanding hockey team and that it can make it intimidating for freshman players. Well, Manira Amini reports on how well the freshman Mavericks can contribute on the ice.
It is not easy to be a student athlete in college. It takes passion, dedication, and extra effort to be successful in the classroom as well as on the ice. The coach believes the freshman group will make a significant impact in their program.
For them, there's going to be an adjustment period, a feeling out period, a period of time to get acquainted with what it takes to be successful at this level.
There are 37 games on the schedule, giving them plenty of chances to prove themselves to the college hockey world.
Our expectation, anything less than a championship is a disappointment.
Every day is a new day to show what they can do. The players are evaluated on day-by-day basis.
You have to work hard and let the pieces fall where they may.
The Maverick hockey team devotes a lot of time to all of their efforts. Each week, 6 hours on ice, 2 hours off ice, plus 12 hours in the classroom. Just getting ready for the first season, freshmen cannot wait to show the results of their hard work. The Maverick hockey players are confident they will be champions at the end of the season. For Maverick Sports, I'm Manira Amini.
Thanks a lot, Manira, for that package on that great hockey team. We're looking forward to the guys on the ice. Okay, let's take a look ahead at what's going on for Maverick Sports in the coming days. Cross country, of course, NCAA regional meet, and then the national meet. For the football team, they're at Central Washington. Then it's time to get seeded and go into postseason play. The soccer team, as we said, they were ranked 23rd. Their last regular season match against Augustana, and then postseason play starts for them. Volleyball also still playing in the North Central Conference with games against North Dakota and St. Cloud State as we tape the show. It'll be that weekend. The swimming and diving team, wow, look at that. Nebraska, Kansas, the weekend we tape, and of course then the Husker Invitational. Well, now we'll take a look at women's basketball. That is not an easy schedule. Check the first 2 games. Then they have the Thanksgiving Classic near the end of November. They don't get a break. And we'll take a look at men's basketball, and they'll be starting pretty soon. They're at St. Cloud State Tourney, the UNO Thanksgiving Classic, and then at Missouri Western. Well, with basketball season approaching, of course, Coach Hansen tells us what he's got in mind to make this a winning season. Cody Banks gives us this Maverick basketball preview.
The rim goes up and the sound of bouncing basketballs filled the gym. This means only one thing. Basketball season is upon us. Coach Darren Hansen explains his team's mindset coming into the season.
Cody, the only thing that we can control is what we do on the floor. We can't control our opponent, so we're going to try to play as hard as we can every day. We're going to try to play unselfish, and we're going to try to play together as much as we can, to go along with being unselfish. So if we can obtain that every day and try to work down the practice floor, we'll be happy with our season.
Finishing 12-16 last season, the Mavericks will fight an uphill battle this season as their tallest player is only 6'9".
Well, we have to rebound it, whether we're undersized or not. So we're going to have to rebound 5 guys, probably a little more than normal. But we'll send a bunch of guys to the rim, but our toughness and our attitude will determine that.
The 07-08 season also brings a new face to the sideline. Assistant coach Randall Hurst replaces 6-year assistant coach Kenyon Crandall. Coach Hansen says that Hurst's experience in the NCC and his knowledge of Division II basketball will be a tremendous help to the program. The Mavericks went 3-9 in conference play last season.
And the Mavericks' first home game is Friday, November 23rd in the UNO Thanksgiving Classic. For Maverick Sports, I'm Cody Banks.
Make that special agent, Cody Banks. Thanks a lot for that basketball package. The wrestling team, of course, they'll be starting their season, and we need to take a look at what's coming up for them. The Daktronics Open, the Nichols Open, and, of course, the Kaufman Brand Open, named after two very, very big college wrestlers, especially in this area. UNO's football team has become a powerhouse in Division II football this season. But football isn't the only division sport in which UNO dominates. Lori Dutcher reports.
It's wrestling season at UNO. The team has begun practice in preparation for their season opener in Brookings, South Dakota. The Mavericks will return 12 letter winners, 8 starters, and 2 national champions. Last year, the team competed for their 4th consecutive national title, but fell short, finishing 3rd. The 2,625-pound national champion, Cody Garcia, missed most of last season due to injuries. He will continue to be sidelined until spring, but plans on a run at another title as soon as he returns.
My goal in the end is to win a national title. So it's just one of those things I'm going to have to go ahead and stay focused. It's going to be a little more difficult with this first semester having to sit out. But, you know, I'm going to have to train just like I would regardless.
Coach Mike Denny is keeping quiet about his chances of earning a 5th national championship.
We never really talk about national championships. I think what we more got to talk about is, you know, the work ethic, the commitment, you know, just being dedicated.
The team may have missed their mark in 2007, but the 149-pound reigning champion, Todd Maneely, has no doubts in his team this year.
100%. Yeah, we're going to get it done this year, so.
The team is on a mission to restore the order this year. For Maverick Sports, I'm Lori Dutcher.
Thanks a lot to Lori, rhymes with Tori, Dutcher. Moving on, the crowd is a very important part of sports. Once again, Cody Banks reports what one student organization is doing to get UNO students involved in all the games.
Whether it's football, volleyball, or soccer, there's one thing you can count on seeing. That's the bullpen. The bullpen is the student section sponsored by Metro Credit Union. Working hand in hand with the athletic director, the students are doing all they can to make UNO games fun and exciting. After forming in the summer, the bullpen is now a recognized student organization.
To be recognized, you just have to write a constitution. It has to be approved by the Rules Committee and the Student Senate. So that's all it took to be officially recognized, but there's a lot more that was put into it than just that.
Now, it doesn't cost anything to sit in the bullpen, but to become an official member, it costs $10. As an official member, you get a t-shirt, and while wearing the t-shirt at the games, you have a chance to win prizes, including a $500 scholarship.
Our goal is definitely to increase school spirit. We want more students at the athletic events and more support for the athletes who work really hard but sometimes don't get recognized like they should.
The group is also using Facebook to keep students informed on the latest sporting events. No matter what the sport, you can find the bullpen at every UNO home game. For Maverick Sports, I'm Cody Banks.
Thanks again, Cody. Imagine me in the bullpen without a shirt. No, that's too much to think of, right? I understand. Okay, let's take a look at when you can watch Maverick Sports on the Knowledge Network. Cox 17, Quest 74, Monday, November 5th, of course, at 9:30, and then Tuesday at noontime, November 6th. For more information, go to the website there. You see it at the bottom. Thanks for watching. Until next time, hoist high the crimson and black.